ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM. Physics, Chemistry, Earth Science, Biology, Biochemistry, Environmental Science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is the way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity and how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day.
Ayan, hello. Naririnig po ba ako dyan? Happy Monday afternoon sa lahat ng mga nakikinig, kasalukuyang nakikinig ngayon via radio or through FB Live. Good afternoon po sa lahat ng ating Grade 8 learners. Ayan, para sa inyo ang programa sa oras na ito. So, how are you? Ayan, nandito na naman tayo. Dito na naman kami, pangalawang linggo. Okay? Now, special mention to my 8 beige and 8 ivory. Okay, I am your science teacher, Rio Faye Magaway.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome to another episode of Scientific Time. We are now on the second week of second quarter. Greetings also to my 8 maroon, 8 purple, 8 lavender, and also to the students of Sir Ryan Kolkol, 8 burgundy. Hello, learners!
Okay, so, amazing afternoon, learners! So, from your amazing teachers. Okay? So, good afternoon also to my 8 Socrates, 8 Copernicus, and 8 Aristotle. Also to 8 SPA and 8 SPJ from Ma'am Donabel Rodriguez, and 8 Aquamarine and 8 Tangerine from Ma'am Mirna Galingana.
Okay, I would like also to greet my 8 Crimson and Cyan. Welcome to another RBI and live streaming of Science 8. So, what are we waiting for? Let us now listen to this radio-based instruction. We will write back after the RBI airing. So, enjoy listening.
Stay tuned!
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Physics, Chemistry, Earth Science, Biology, Biochemistry, Environmental Science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is a way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity of how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science.
Good day, our dear listeners, especially to our grade 8 learners. I am Teacher Riufe B. Magaway, your radio teacher in science. We are glad because you are with us in our alternative delivery mode of education through the use of this radio-based instruction. It is a great privilege that you can join us in fun learning through radio. At this moment, please get your learning activity sheets titled Earthquake, Epicenter versus Focus, Intensity versus Magnitude, and Active versus Inactive Fault. Your writing materials for you to write down important concepts. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
From the previous lesson, you have learned about earthquakes and types of faults. What are the primary effects of earthquake?
Ma'am, the primary effects of earthquakes are ground shaking, ground rupture, landslides, tsunamis, and liquefaction.
Very good. What are faults?
Ma'am, faults are rock fractures or cracks where a block of rock moves with respect to one another. It is caused by forces underneath the earth.
Correct. How about the 3 types of faults?
Ma'am, the 3 types of faults are normal faults, reverse faults, and strike-slip faults.
Exactly. Can you differentiate them?
Ma'am, normal faults form when the hanging wall drops down. Reverse faults form when the hanging wall moves up, and strike-slip faults have walls that move sideways, not up or down.
Very good. It seems that you really understood our past lesson. Let us move on to a new fun-filled discussion after the infomercial.
Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia. What were the strongest, deadliest earthquakes in the Philippines in recent memory? One of the strongest earthquakes to ever strike the country in recent memory occurred in central Philippines in 2013. It was the 7.2 magnitude tremor, which resulted in a total of 150 deaths and serious damage in properties. The tremor affected more than 3 million families in Central Visayas and destroyed century-old churches. But it was not even the deadliest tremor the country had ever seen. Another was the Mindoro earthquake, which swept away 1,530 houses in the coastal areas of Baco and Calapan, Oriental Mindoro, after a tsunami kicked up by the earthquake. The 5 deadliest earthquakes in the Philippines had been documented in the 20th century. This infomercial is brought to you by golfnews.com, Kaagham, and 106.3 FM Dance Radio. Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia. It's science time. You're listening to Teacher Rio.
I'm back. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to differentiate the earthquake's epicenter and focus, intensity and magnitude, and active and inactive faults. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck! Have you experienced earthquake?
Yes, ma'am. I was so scared.
Why?
Ma'am, because the ground was shaking.
Yes. What else did you experience?
Ma'am, I felt a bit dizzy.
That is right. Our experiences during earthquake are really scary. That is why, my dear learners, it is important to be aware about the things that might happen. The focus and epicenter are our first topic. Have you ever heard these words?
Yes, ma'am. I think when there were reported earthquake incidents, I used to hear the word focus and epicenter, but I don't know exactly their meanings, ma'am.
Good! Although focus and epicenter tell us about the origin of the ground movements, it is still important to know the difference between the two. Can you tell the difference, my dear learners?
Yes, ma'am. Focus and epicenter are where earthquake starts.
Yes, the focus is the place inside the Earth's crust where an earthquake originates. The point above the focus is the epicenter. The epicenter is the point in the ground located directly above the focus, more or less just above the point where the fault line ruptured. That is where the shock waves originate.
I wonder why seismologists could locate the epicenter of earthquake, ma'am.
Scientists need readings from at least 3 seismographs in a region. They use the data from each seismograph to determine how far away it was from the epicenter when the earthquake occurred. And these data are used to find the site on the Earth.
I got the idea that it is important to determine the epicenter of earthquakes, ma'am.
Yes, it is important for seismologists to determine the epicenter of earthquakes because the epicenter is the place of greatest damage hit by an earthquake and which effects can be directly seen and observed. How about focus, my dear learners?
Focus is also called hypocenter, a place where the fault begins to slip and the first movement occurs. Thus, the focus is the origin of the earthquake, ma'am?
Correct. It is important to know that when focus is shallow, the magnitude of earthquake is registered at the epicenter ranging from 1 to 5, while deep focus is of higher magnitudes, ranging from 6 to 8 or more. Shallow focus earthquakes are best measured using Richter scale, while deep focus earthquakes are best measured using the moment magnitude scale that has the capacity to record magnitudes up to 10 on the scale.
Additional idea, ma'am. The point inside the crust where the pressure is released is called the focus, while the point on the Earth's surface above the focus is called the epicenter.
Very good! Any more?
The epicenter serves as the geographical point of reference in determining the relation of the area and the actual location of the earthquake's occurrence, ma'am.
That's right! And that makes epicenter and focus different. Why are earthquakes described by intensity and magnitude?
Ma'am, the intensity of an earthquake gives us an idea of how strong or weak the shaking is. The measure of shaking at each location through varied place to place and the distance from the fault rupture area. Intensity is the property of the earthquake that indicates the effects and extent of damage it caused.
Exactly! Furthermore, Intensity of the earthquake is determined by observing the effects of the earthquake in different places. That is why houses, buildings, and other structures are inspected for possible damages.
Ma'am, people are also asked about what they saw, felt, and did during the earthquake in order to determine its intensity.
You are correct. Because they could predict the severity of an earthquake based on how it would affect them and their properties.
I read about a kind of standard for determining intensity of earthquakes, ma'am.
Exactly, my dear. Earthquake intensity can be measured by the Mercalli scale, invented by Giuseppe Mercalli in 1902. This scale uses the observations of the people who experienced the earthquake to estimate its intensity. How about the magnitude, dear learners?
The magnitude is the amount of energy released at the earthquake source, characterized by the relative size of an earthquake as based on measurement of the maximum motion recorded by a seismograph. How are earthquake magnitudes measured, ma'am?
Good question. Magnitude can be measured by the Richter scale developed by Charles F. Richter in 1934. It used a formula based on amplitude or the height of the largest wave recorded on a specific type of seismometer and the distance between the earthquake and the seismometer. The Richter scale measures the energy released, with 1.5 indicates the smallest earthquake that can be felt, 4.5 an earthquake causing slight damage, and 8.5 a very devastating earthquake.
Ma'am, I just observed that Mercalli scale is not considered as scientific as the Richter scale.
Nice observation! Mercalli scale is a descriptive scale for intensity, while Richter scale is a quantitative scale for magnitude. Now, can you tell the difference of intensity and magnitude?
Ma'am, intensity is the severity of earthquake shaking and is assessed during a descriptive scale, the modified Mercalli intensity scale. And magnitude refers to earthquake size, and it is quantitative measure of the size of the earthquake at its source. The Richter magnitude scale measures the amount of seismic energy released by an earthquake.
You are indeed correct. Now, we are ready to discuss active and inactive faults. From our discussion last week, can you tell what is a fault?
Yes, ma'am. A fault is a break in the Earth's crust, and along the break, significant movement has taken place.
Correct! How about the active and inactive faults?
An active fault is one that has moved in the past and is expected to move again, meaning it has generated earthquakes before and is capable of causing more in the future, ma'am.
That's right! Geologists commonly consider fault to be active if there has been movement observed or evidence of seismic activity during the last 10,000 years. How about inactive fault?
Inactive faults are structures that are identified without having earthquakes because of the complexity of earthquake activity. Judging a fault to be inactive can be tricky, ma'am.
Very good! When do we say that a fault is inactive, dear learners?
Ma'am, if a fault has been inactive for millions of years, it's certainly safe to call it inactive. However, some faults only have large earthquakes once in thousands of years, and we need to evaluate carefully their hazard potential.
Correct! Let us apply it in our country, the Philippines. There are a total of 5 active fault lines that geologists need to monitor every now and then. First is the Marikina Valley Fault. It is the fault which is considered to be the most dangerous fault in the country
Why, ma'am?
because it cuts through almost all the progressive and crowded portions of Manila.
And what are the other 4 active faults, ma'am?
Second is the Western Philippine Fault. It can also be found in the water or sea. Third is the Eastern Philippine Fault. It is similar to the Western Philippine Fault, but it is found beneath the ground. Who can give the fourth and fifth active fault, dear learners?
Ma'am, fourth is the Southern Mindanao Fault. It runs through the Celebes Sea as well as the Moro Gulf. The fifth and the last, but definitely not the least, would be the Central Philippine Fault. It is similar to the Marikina Valley Fault line.
In addition, ma'am, the Central Philippine Fault runs through several provinces and cities from the northern part of the archipelago down to the northern part of Davao.
That's right.
Is there any inactive faults in our country? The Philippines, ma'am?
Yes, there are inactive faults, but the Philippine Volcanology and Seismology or PhilVolcs has yet to release an updated list of inactive faults in the Philippines.
Ma'am, there is a need for us to be updated because of the complexity of earthquake activity that can occur across a fault.
Precisely. With that, we therefore have to be very careful all the time wherever we go.
Thank you, ma'am. We will now be more aware of the active faults here in our country.
Correct. Always remember, lamang ang may alam. This time, let us answer the activity in your learning activity sheet. Turn your learning activity sheets on page 4 and let us answer activity 1 titled Epicenter or Focus. Directions. Classify the given statements whether it describes a focus or epicenter. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. It is also the hypocenter of an earthquake. I repeat. It is also the hypocenter of an earthquake. What is your answer?
Ma'am, the answer is focus. Focus is also the hypocenter of an earthquake.
Very good. Number 2. It is the spot located on the surface of the earth and is directly found above the source of the movement. I repeat. It is the spot located on the surface of the earth and is directly found above the source of the movement. What is your answer?
The answer is epicenter, the spot located on the surface of the earth and is directly found above the source of the movement, ma'am.
Correct. Number 3. It consists of vibrating waves known as shock waves, which move away from the source. I repeat. It consists of vibrating waves known as shock waves, which move away from the source. What is your answer?
The answer is focus, ma'am. Focus consists of vibrating waves known as shock waves.
You got it right. Number 4. It is the basis of seismologists in locating the source of the earthquake. I repeat. It is the basis of seismologists in locating the source of the earthquake? Your answer, please?
Ma'am, the answer is epicenter, the basis of seismologists in locating the source of earthquake.
Very good. Number 5. It is the spot where the fault line slips. I repeat. It is the spot where the fault line slips. What is the answer?
The answer is focus, the spot where the fault line slip, ma'am.
Correct. Number 6. The spot severely damaged by the earthquake. I repeat. The spot severely damaged by the earthquake. What is the answer?
Epicenter, the spot severely damaged by the earthquake. Ma'am.
Very good. Did you get a perfect score, dear learners?
Yes, ma'am.
Please answer the remaining activities on your learning activity sheets after this broadcast or in your most convenient time. Watch and join the live discussion right after the RBI airing. Let's summarize our lesson for today. Who can differentiate focus and epicenter?
Ma'am, the point inside the crust where the pressure is released is called the focus, while the point on the Earth's surface above the focus is called the epicenter.
How about intensity and magnitude, dear learners?
Ma'am, intensity measures the physical damages by an earthquake while magnitude measures the energy that the seismic wave sent out.
Precisely. How about active and inactive faults?
Ma'am, active faults have caused earthquakes in the past and have the potential to do that again in the future. Whereas inactive faults are structures that have been detected but have not yet caused earthquakes.
Very good. Before we end up our lesson, let me ask you one important question. When earthquake occurs, where would shaking be greater? Near the epicenter or away from the epicenter?
Ma'am, the severity of shaking is much greater near the epicenter than more distant places. Thus, during the same earthquake of a certain magnitude, different locations experience different levels of intensity.
Precisely. You figured out that fast. At this moment, can you give your most significant learning for today's discussion?
Ma'am, the most significant thing we've learned is that we need to be aware of and informed about earthquakes in order to understand how this natural phenomenon affects our lives and how we can be safe when it occurs.
Congratulations! I'm so glad because I know you really did well today. That ends our lesson for today. I would like to acknowledge the teachers behind this School on the Air lesson. Teacher Rosel G. Santiago, our script writer. Teacher Ryan A. Colcol, our technical specialist. Teacher Venus J. Lintao, our language editor. Teacher Donabel Velasco and Ma'am Annabel A. Rodriguez, our content editors. Thank you very much. I'm Teacher Rio Faye B. Magaway, your radio teacher in science. Stay tuned for our live discussion. Good day, everyone!
Dance Radio, siniparalan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong.
physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is a way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity of how the world develops and works today. Science, science, science. This is your class, and this is science.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone once again. So I am Ma'am Rio, and with me are Ma'am Rosel and ayan, Ma'am Lynn and Sir Hector. Now you just have a listen to the RBI lesson of Science 8, Quarter 2, Week 2.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome to another live streaming of Grade 8. To our students, sit back, relax, and learn, because today we will be learning more about earthquakes focus and epicenter, intensity and magnitude, and also about active and inactive fault.
That is right, sir. So to our learners, please comment down your section with our official hashtag for today. That is hashtag ligtas ang may alam.
Wow, what a nice hashtag, Ma'am Rosel. Ligtas ang may alam. Okay, so before we start, let us read first our learning competency for today's topic. So we have differentiate the earthquakes, epicenter and focus, intensity and magnitude, and active and inactive faults.
Okay, so let's start, ma'am, by reviewing our previous topic, which is all about earthquake and faults. Okay, Ma'am Lynn, can you please give us a short or quick review about this topic?
Okay, so last week we discussed about earthquake. So when we say earthquake, it is the sudden shaking of the earth that occurs when energy is released when its lithospheric crust or tectonic plates move.
Yes, ma'am. So how about faults, ma'am? What are the three types of faults?
Okay, so the three main types of faults are we have the normal fault, the reverse fault, and the strike-slip fault. So when we say normal fault, it is formed when the hanging wall drops down. So bababa yung hanging wall. And then reverse fault, it is the opposite. So reverse faults form when the hanging wall moves up. And the strike-slip fault when walls that move sideways.
Okay, well said, Ma'am Lynn. So that is all about our first topic for the second quarter. This time, let us start our lesson for this week by watching a short video of a news clip about earthquake that happened in our country. Okay, take it away, Sir Ryan. Okay, so ayan. So this is a news clip, ma'am, about earthquake na nangyari mismo dito sa ating bansa.
Oh, si Kabayan ba yan?
Yes,
Yes,
si
ma'am.
Kabayan Noli de Castro.
Batikan na sa mga earthquake incidents ng mga yan.
Yes, so sa ating mga learners, i-take note ninyo yung mga unfamiliar words na may encounter nyo mamaya kapag nag-play yung video.
Naglalag tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng technical problem, Mama Rosel. Ito din sa ating short video. Ayaw.
Okay, so ayan,
Ayaw magsalita ni
nag-loading.
Kabayan.
Paano magsalita si
Oh, hindi pa siya ready. Okay, anyway, Ma'am Lynn, so bago yung video, ano na yung pinaka, or ano na yung strongest earthquake na na-experience mo, ma'am?
Okay, so that was noong 1990. So that is the massive 7.7 magnitude na talagang na-smash or tinamaan ang Luzon.
Eh,
Dalaga
wow.
pa lang ako yun.
Dalaga ka pa nun,
Yes.
ma'am. Okay. How about you, Sir Hector? May asawa ka na ba nun?
Ay, wala.
Elementary pa lang
ako.
yata si Sir Hector, no?
Kasalukuyan naglalaro kami noon ng patintero nung biglang nagkaroon ng malakas na lindol. So napansin na lang namin, bakit kaya nahihilo kami patintero yun.
Kasi ang lakas yun, ano?
Oo,
ang
ma'am.
lakas.
Ano yung mga effects niya, ma'am, na dito sa, for example, sa buildings,
So,
sa roads?
maswerte dito sa atin sa Doña kasi nandun kami nun sa sa San Juan campus. Kahit na matagal na yung mga building doon, wala namang ganong naging damage. So ibig sabihin talagang matibay yung mga sinaunang building noon. So walang gaano namang naging epekto dito sa Doña. Pero diyan sa Baguio, grabe, 'di ba, Sir Hector?
Yes, ma'am. Yun yata yung center ng ng earthquake.
Epicenter?
Oo.
Okay, yan, no? So, sa mga learners natin, take note. May nasabi si Ma'am Erlinda kanina, magnitude, epicenter.
Yes,
Okay, so take note of those words.
Ikaw ba, Ma'am Rosel, may na-experience ka na bang earthquake?
Yes, ma'am, pero minor lang kasi yun, I guess it's magnitude 3, ganun lang siya.
Hindi gaanong malakas yun na Ma'am Rosel. Kung magnitude 3, hindi gaanong ramdam.
Oo.
Not like talaga nung 1990. So, yung mga nagto-travel nga na napupunta ng Manila, hindi pwede dyan sa Santa Fe. Umiikot sila dun sa Patapan. Mukhang okay na yata ang ating video clip, Ma'am Rosel.
Yes, ma'am. So, let's go back to the past. Tignan natin, no? Etong isang news clip hatid sa inyo ni Kabayan.
Castro.
Okay, so it's a good thing naman na ang ating mga learners ay hindi na nila na-experience tong earthquake. At sana wag na wag na nating ma-experience to. This is a natural disaster. Ayan.
Predict.
Yes, ma'am. Ayan na yung video. Balikan natin.
Bayan, noong nakaraang
Pakilakasan lang,
Abril
sir.
ay niyanig ng magnitude 7.8 na lindol ang Nepal na kumitil naman o pumatay sa may
Ayan. So, Sir Hector, parang kinabahan ako dyan sa report ni Kabayan,
Kaya nga.
Ayan. So, yung the big one na sinasabi niya. Sir, what is your reflection about the video?
Okay, ma'am. Watching the video made me reflect about our official hashtag today, ma'am. It really makes sense. Sabi kasi sa hashtag natin, ligtas ang may alam. And therefore, we must also be educated about earthquake and the things that might happen during earthquake. Ma'am Rosel?
Yes, sir. That's right. So, ayan, no. So, habang nagpe-play yung video kanina, nag-take note kami ni Ma'am Lynn ng mga terms. So, we have here some of the important terms are focus, epicenter, intensity, magnitude, active fault, and inactive fault.
Okay, correct, Ma'am Rosel. And those are the terms that we need to understand. And today, this afternoon, we will learn about those terms, Ma'am Rosel.
Yes, sabi nga sa ating official hashtag, ligtas ang may alam.
Okay. So, dear learners, let us start by describing the picture na ipapakita on the screen. Sir Ryan? Okay. So, we have here picture 1, the broken windshield, and picture 2, the diagram of the main features of an earthquake. So, ayan, dalawang pictures ang makikita nyo ngayon if you are watching via live stream, in order for our learners to understand and visualize what is focus and epicenter. Okay, tignan natin itong mga pictures sa screen.
Okay, so look closely to these two pictures and compare the broken windshield with the diagram of the main features of an earthquake.
Yan. Okay, so habang tinitignan ko yung dalawang picture, sir, I noticed that the broken windshield has a center point. So, ayun, kung saan siguro tumamang insekto, lakas ng insekto, okay, o kaya mga maliit na stone. Ano, sir?
Isang maliit na matigas na bagay.
Oo, ayan. So, ganun din yung sa diagram of the main features of an earthquake. Meron ding center point.
Okay, good observation, Ma'am Rio. Can you please identify the part shown in the diagram, Ma'am Rio?
Yes, sure, Sir Hector. So the diagram of the main features of an earthquake shows the fault line. Ayan, hindi natin makita. Okay, the fault line, the epicenter, the focus, seismic waves, and the plate movement.
Yan, correct ka, Ma'am Rio. We cannot see the actual picture of that in the ground. However, we can use the picture of broken windshield to make a comparison. Just like the broken windshield, it has a center or point, and that represent epicenter. The cracks show or represent the seismic wave. Therefore, during earthquake, that is what usually happen in the Earth's crust. Kaya yun, nakikita natin sa my picture.
Okay, so yung broken windshield, parang nire-represent yung Earth's crust natin, ano, Sir Hector?
Oo, ma'am.
Oo. So yung center point, yun yung tinatawag na epi, that represents the epicenter of the earthquake. So, may dalawang important terms na nabanggit. Okay? So, remember, our dear learners, that etong mga important terms na nasabi is the focus or are the focus and the epicenter. So, the focus, ayan, di ba? Parang kayo, nagpo-focus kayo ngayon sa studies niyo, no? It is the point within the earth where seismic waves originate. So, it is the part of the fault that has the greatest movement. So, the fault plane is the flat surface along which there is slip during an earthquake.
Yes, Ma'am Rio. When we say epicenter, it is a location on the Earth's surface directly above the focus.
Okay. So, magkaiba ba itong mga terms na ito, Sir Hector? Focus at epicenter?
Good question, Ma'am Rio. The answer is big yes. Magkaiba talaga yung focus at saka epicenter, ma'am.
Oh, spelling pa lang, ano, sir?
Oh, yes, ma'am. When we say focus, that is the exact point inside the crust where a tremendous amount of energy starts to be released, and that is also called hypocenter. While epicenter, that is the point on the Earth's surface vertically above the focus, where energy waves are felt most strongly. It comes from the Latin word epicentrum, meaning situated at the center.
Okay, Sir Hector. So, ang focus, ito yung, our dear learners, ito yung point inside the crust, okay, where the pressure is released. So, ito yung tinatawag na focus. So, the point on the Earth's crust above the focus is called the epicenter. Okay? So, ang focus is also known hypocenter because it is below the center. Epicenter, hypocenter. Hypocenter is also known as focus.
So, ibig sabihin, ma'am, yung epicenter, yun yung doon na sa surface ng Earth yan.
Yes, Sir Hector.
While yung focus doon sa loob.
Inside the crust.
Pero magkatapat yan, ma'am.
Yes. Vertical na ang tawag dito, katapat niya.
Okay,
Ayun.
ma'am.
So, ayun, our dear learners, we hope na intindihan ninyo ang dalawang important terms for this tawag dito?
Terms.
Yes, the focus and the epicenter of an earthquake.
Okay, so
Yeah.
wow.
Okay.
So, thank you, Ma'am Rio and Sir Hector. So, yun, Ma'am Rosel, the focus and the epicenter.
Yes, ma'am. So, focus is inside the crust and above the focus, In the crust na mismo, nasa ibabaw na is we have the epicenter.
Okay, so moving on. So let's proceed to the next term, Ma'am Rosel. So we have the intensity versus magnitude. Magkapareho ba ito or magkaiba?
Okay, sabi nga ni Sir Hector kanina, ma'am, big no.
Magkaiba.
Kaiba sila.
Big
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
na ano siya doon sa video kasi kanina na the big one.
Oo.
Parang ano pa yung kay Mama Aracel. Okay. So, this time, so let's differentiate these two terms. So, when we say magnitude, determine how destructive an earthquake was. So, kung gaano, no? How destructive. Okay. So, magnitude can be measured by the Richter scale. And this Richter scale was developed by Charles F. Richter in 1934. So, it is used a formula based on amplitude. So, when we say amplitude or the height, yung taas, no? The height of the largest wave recorded on a specific type of seismometer. So, pag sinabi nating seismometer, that is an instrument that responds to ground noises and shaking, such as caused by earthquakes, volcanic eruption, and explosion. Okay? So, ayan, sabi ko nga kanina. So, that is used a formula based on amplitude or the height of the largest wave recorded on a specific type of seismometer and the distance between the earthquake and the seismometer. So, the Richter scale measured the energy release. So, the energy release, no? So, with 1.5 indicates the smallest earthquake that can be felt, mahina. 4.5, an earthquake causing slight damage. And kapag 8.5 na, that is a very devastating earthquake. Okay? So, a seismometer detects the vibration caused by an earthquake which are plotted by a seismograph. A seismograph that is an instrument used to record earthquake's magnitude. Okay? So the strength or magnitude of an earthquake is measured using the Richter scale. And the Richter scale is numbered 0 to 10. That is yung Arabic. Diba, Ma'am Rosel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Pakita nga natin na Sir Ryan, yung ating Richter scale, yung 0 to 10. Okay, so that is a measurement of earthquake's magnitude based on seismic wave size. So, 0 to 10. So, sabi ko kanina, when it is between 1 to 5, that is indicates a smallest earthquake. So, yung makikita ninyong guhit na ganyan, learners, that is what we call the wiggly lines. Diba? Yung pag-shake kasi ng ground.
Siyempre, ma'am, pag yung guhit is shorter, ibig sabihin, the energy produced is lesser also.
Yes. At kapag the amplitude is higher, mataas, ibig sabihin,
Greater yung kanyang energy na na-produce.
so tingnan natin dun sa dun sa may 7, 8, 9. Tingnan natin doon, di ba? Okay, so that is
Very devastating.
Yes. So that's the magnitude.
Okay, yes, Ma'am Lynn, well explained. So on the other hand, intensity naman tayo, learners. So when we say intensity, that is determined by how much damage naman has occurred and the amount of shaking experienced in a particular area. So for intensity, it is measured with the modified Mercalli scale developed by Giuseppe Mercalli. Okay, so intensity of the earthquake, paano nga ba ito, ma'am? So kanina kasi, we have the movement of the wave, di ba? Yung pagsusulat ng pen. So for intensity, paano naman nila to nalalaman? So intensity of the earthquake is determined by observing the effects of the earthquake in different places. That is why houses, buildings, and other structures are inspected for possible damages. So in other words, when we say intensity, they measure that depending upon the damages that the earthquake left, di ba?
Okay, yes.
And we have also here the modified Mercalli scale. So we are going to use here the Roman numeral. So we have here 1 to 12. However, learners, sa ating bansa, so i-localize natin So in our country, we have our own scale na, intensity scale na ginagamit. And that is what we call the PHIVOLCS Earthquake Intensity Scale or PEIS. Okay, so ano nga ba tong PEIS? Ano yung dinidescribe niya, Ma'am Lynn?
Okay, so how was the Philippine Earthquake Intensity Scale described? So yan. So the PHIVOLCS Earthquake Intensity Scale or the PEIS describes how an earthquake is felt in a certain area based on the relative effects of an earthquake on structures and surroundings. Also, it is represented by the Roman numerals. Kasi yung magnitude natin kanina, Arabic. No?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so represented by Roman numerals with intensity 1 as the weakest and intensity 10 the strongest. So it has been used since 1996 kapalit ng Rossi-Forel scale.
And kung napansin nila, ma'am, so in magnitude, it starts zero. Yes, zero. While in intensity,
Is
we
one.
use 1. Anyway, learners, itong PEISI, dito lamang sa Pilipinas, kaya nga siya PHIVOLCS, Philippine Volcanology, di ba? PHIVOLCS Earthquake Intensity Scale. So, tignan natin, ma'am, kung ano nga ba yung sinasabi nitong PEI. So, we have intensity 1. What is intensity 1, Ma'am Lynn?
Perceptible. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Perceptible to people only under favorable circumstances. Delicately balanced objects are disturbed slightly. So, still water in containers oscillate slowly. So, hindi gaanong napapansin yan or hindi gaanong naramdaman.
Yes, so kapag sinabi nating intensity 1, hindi pa ito ramdam, so kapag mapapansin lang to, for example, may baso, ma'am.
Yes, oo.
Tapos, ino-observe mo talaga siya.
If you are a keen observer.
Yes, so may konting oscillation lang.
Yes.
So that is intensity 1 of PEIS.
Or kung may nakabitin, so yung konting galaw.
Yes. Okay, so intensity 2 naman tayo. Ayan na.
Is slightly felt.
Yes, slightly felt na siya. So it is felt by few individuals at rest indoors. Ibig sabihin, halimbawa, nakaupo ka lang, nakahiga ka lang, pwede mo nang maramdaman yan. Pero pag naglalakad ka, nagsasayaw, hindi mo yan mararamdaman. And hanging objects swing slightly. Still water in containers oscillates noticeably than the first intensity.
Okay, so 3, intensity 3, weak.
Yes, weak pa lang siya.
Yes, felt by many people indoors, especially in upper floors or building pag sa second floor ka, third floor. So the vibration is felt like the passing of a light truck. Kapag ang bahay mo malapit sa kalsada tapos dumaan yung malaking sasakyan, di ba? Parang nararamdaman natin yung vibration. So parang ganun din yan. So dizziness and nausea are experienced by some people. So medyo yung mga sensitive na talagang konting galaw lang, nahihilo na sila. Ganun. Hanging objects swing moderately. And still water in containers oscillate moderately.
Yes, and we have also intensity 4. It is now moderately strong. So when we say intensity 4, it is felt generally by people indoors and also by some people outdoors. So, for example, natutulog ka, pwede ka nang magising because of this intensity 4. Vibration is felt like the passing of heavy truck. So kanina sa intensity 3, ma'am, mga light na truck lang siya. So dito, mga 10-wheeler, ganun na siguro yung feelings.
Yes.
And then hanging objects swing considerably. Dinner plates, glasses, windows, and doors rattle. So,
Gumagalaw
yes,
na.
mararamdaman mo na talaga ito. Intensity 4.
Moderately strong.
Ayan, so yan pa yung mga additional na ma-experience ninyo kapag ka may intensity 4 na earthquake. At sana wala naman.
Yes.
Okay, intensity 5 naman tayo.
Strong. Ay, naku, Ma'am Rosel, malakas. So, generally felt by most people indoors and outdoors. Sa loob ka ng bahay or sa labas.
Yes, so ibig sabihin, ma'am, kahit may ginagawa ka na, mararamdaman mo na.
And he says, many sleeping people are awakened. Magigising talaga. So, some are frightened, some ran outdoors. Strong shaking and rocking felt throughout any building. So the hanging objects swing violently, and the dining utensils clatter and clink, and some are broken kasi strong na.
Yes, strong na siya. So pwede nang ma-damage yung mga properties din. Slightly damage.
Lalo na kapag gawa lang sa light material.
Yes. And intensity 6.
Sir, next slide please.
Okay, so ayan, very strong na siya. So dito naman, many people are frightened. Of course, matatakot na tayong lahat. And many will run outdoors. So some people lose their balance also. So halimbawa, nakatayo ka. So kapag may intensity 6, pwede ka nang matumba because of the strong wave na siya. Motorist feels like driving with flat tires. Kaya ito ma'am, hindi rin suggested na kapag nasa daan ka, tas may earthquake, ay idiretso mo lang.
So, kailangan huminto.
Yes, magpagilid, then huminto. Heavy objects or furnitures will now move or may be shifted. Kahit mabibigat na bagay, is kaya na niyang i-move. And small church bells may ring.
So, walang nagpaparing, pero dahil dun sa pagyanig, magriring na kusa yung bell.
So, yung mga old and poorly built buildings, so pwede ring pwede na ring masira talaga. And for intensity 7,
Destructive na, ma'am.
nakakatakot na yan,
Yes.
destructive.
Yung anong 1990, 7.7 yun eh.
So that is destructive already, ma'am. Kaya pala madami ng. How about ma'am, number of deaths? Meron, madami ba?
Madami nun. Okay, so when you say destructive, most people are frightened and run outdoors. People find it difficult to stand in upper floors kapag nandun ka sa itaas ng building, hindi ka makatayo, no? So, heavy objects and furniture overturn and topple. So, pwedeng matumba.
Yes,
So, ganun
ma'am.
kalakas, ma'am. The big church bells may ring. Old or poorly built structures suffer considerably damage. Some well-built structures are slightly damaged. Some cracks may appear on dikes, fish ponds, road surfaces, or concrete hollow blocks wall. Kakaroon na ng mga bitak-bitak. So limited liquefaction, lateral spreading, and landslides are observed. So when you say liquefaction, that is a process by which loose saturated sand lose strength during an earthquake and behave like liquid. So yun na yung biglang diba?
Yes, ma'am. Parang soft na yung yung land.
Yes. Okay. And trees are shaken strongly.
Okay, so next. Ayan. So additional informations about very destructive.
Siyempre, people will panic dahil sa sobrang lakas na yan. People find it difficult to stand even outdoors.
Okay, imagine that. It's very difficult to stand.
Kasi talagang matutumba ka. Okay, many well-built buildings are considerably damaged. Concrete dikes and foundation of bridges are destroyed by ground settling or toppling. Wala, pati mga bridges, masisira na yan. Railway tracks are bent or broken. So talagang very destructive. Ano, Ma'am Rosel? Okay.
So, yun. In other words, when we say intensity 8, very destructive, madami na ang masisira, people will panic, and people cannot stand na.
So let's pray, Ma'am. na wag mangyari,
Sana
no?
nga, ma'am. And intensity 9 is defined as devastating. So, when we say devastating, intensity 9, people are forcibly thrown to the ground. So, mapapaupo ka, mapapahiga ka, and then pwede ka nang maitsa doon sa other location, And of course, many cry and shake with fear. Most buildings are totally damaged also. Bridges and elevation concrete are toppled and destroyed. So, in other words, kung gaano ka-devastating yung intensity 8, mas lalo naman to.
Parang dun sa ano yung...
San Andreas, yung movie, so if you are familiar with that, the San Andreas Fault. Pero that's a fictionist, that I guess that's too much naman. And for intensity 10, completely devastating. So dito ma'am, lahat na ng gawa ng tao are destroyed. Massive landslide and liquefaction, large-scale subsidence and uplifting of landforms. So, ito na yung pinakagrabing version for PEI's intensity 10. Even trees are uprooted. So, imagine yung mga malalaking
Pag
trees.
nangyari yan, wala nang mabubuhay.
Oo, ma'am.
So, let's pray na wag mangyari ang yung kinakatakutan nating the big one. Okay?
Yes.
The magnitude and intensity.
Yes, ma'am. So, Philippine earthquake intensity scale. So, that is was developed especially dito lang sa ating country. Syempre, sa ibang country, meron din silang ibang gamit. So, it gives the quantitative and the qualitative description of how strong the earthquake is. So, differentiating magnitude and intensity, when we say magnitude, that is quantitative measure of its strength in terms of the energy release, while intensity of an earthquake is measured in terms of damages caused by it at a particular location, or it's more on, it is measured more on qualitative scale.
Yes. Next slide, sir, please. Okay, so the magnitude of an earthquake is measure of... Sir, balik tayo.
Hello, Sir Ryan.
Nag-aapura na naman si Sir Ryan. Okay. Yan, so magnitude of an earthquake is a measure of its size, while intensity is an indicator of the severity of the damages at a certain area or location caused by it. Magnitude and intensity decreases with epicenter. The farther the epicenter from the area, the less intense and less strong the earthquake is.
Ibig sabihin, pag mas malapit ka sa epicenter, kaya una nating define yung epicenter kanina para maintindihan ng ating mga learners.
Mas malapit sa epicenter, Ma'am Rosel, syempre, yung
Mas malakas yung shaking at yung damage, ma'am, of
Yes.
course, ay mas malaki din, mas madami.
Mas malayo ka na doon, mas less intense na, mas mahina na.
Yes, so that is all about earthquakes, intensity, and magnitude. Don't forget, when we say magnitude, that measures the energy of the earthquake, while intensity it will measure how much damage. Okay, this time, let's have the active and inactive fault.
Okay. So, ayan. So, earthquakes occur on faults. Alam natin yan. Diba? Now, there are level of activity may be active or inactive. So, active faults have the ability to generate earthquakes, while inactive faults can no longer produce earthquakes. So, konting ano lang Sir Hector, active
Yes, ma'am.
fault, sinabi na to kanina, known to have recently generated earthquakes within the last 10,000 years and may still continue to generate earthquakes. Kaya nga sinabing active, di ba? Kapag active ka sa messenger, di ba? Ilang ano lang masisin mo na agad. While kapag inactive naman, okay, ayan. Compare sa fault, ito yung fault na hindi na nakakapag-produce ng earthquake.
Oo, hindi na, para bang wala nang kakayahan na
Oo,
mag-produce
Sir
ng
Hector.
earthquake. So, inactive faults are structures that are identified without having earthquakes because of the complexity of earthquake activity. Judging a fault to be inactive can be tricky. Baka sabihin nila, hindi na yan active, okay na yan, baka ganun sila. So take note mga mag-aaral, tricky, hindi natin ma-predict kung gagalaw pa yan o hindi na.
So may possibility, Sir Hector? Possible na it will still generate earthquake in the future.
Oo. Baka dormant lang or hindi pa hinog, yung pressure and temperature beneath the earth crust ay kaya niya pang i-resist, kaya hindi pa siya gumagalaw.
Okay. So let us discuss one active fault in our country, Sir Hector.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
The Marikina West Valley Fault. So it is considered to be the most dangerous fault in the country.
Bakit
So,
siya nasabi na most dangerous fault, ma'am?
Ayan, so because it cuts through almost all the progressive and crowded portions of Manila.
So it means nasa populated area.
Oo, so ibig sabihin madami ding tao dyan, naninirahan.
So, yes, Ma'am Ria, so kung nakinig yung mga learners natin kanina sa news, sabi ni Kabayan is hinog na daw ang Marikina West Valley Fault. So, ibig sabihin, malapit pero wag naman sana na yanigin yung area na yan. So, nasa populated area siya. So, imagine the damages na pwede niyang magawa, di ba?
Oo, also Ma'am Rosel, so the FIVOX people also warned that this fault, itong Marikina Valley Fault, line can move anytime because it is already 17 years late for its movement.
Yes, so tama yung sabi ni Kabayan, hinog na daw siya at sana wag naman nakakatakot.
At saka yan yung pinaghahandaan natin na the big one na kung saan sabi niya kanina 10 kilometers yung kanya, yung haba niya. So kung nangyari yan, talagang maraming mga maapektuhan ng mga areas.
Yes, so we cannot stop naman in the first place we cannot stop earthquake. However, we must be ready na lang sana. We must be ready sa lahat ng pwedeng mangyari. Preparedness at yung kaalaman natin dapat.
At saka yan yung fault kasi na dumadaan sa land. Yung iba kasi yung fault nasa tubig na.
Yes, sir. Tama ka dyan. Sir, ayan, ipakita nga natin yung ibang fault dito sa ating bansa. So, we have there the Central Philippine Fault. So, saan naman yan, Ma'am Lynn, yung Central Philippine Fault?
Okay, so yan ang entire Ilocos Norte. Aurora, that is Aurora Province ha, not Aurora Isabela ha. Aurora, Quezon, Masbate, Eastern Leyte, Southern Leyte, Agusan del Norte, Agusan del Sur, and Davao del Norte.
Ayan, so kung may mga kakilala kayo dyan, mga learners, sabihin ninyo, mag-ingat sila kasi nasa fault line sila.
Oo,
And,
in case na hindi nila alam, Ma'am Rosel.
yes. And sabi natin kanina, yung most dangerous is the Marikina Valley Fault kasi kapag titignan ninyo yung affected area, halos lahat ay cities, ayan, Montalban, San Mateo, Marikina, Pasig, Taguig. So, nasa populated talaga siya. And we have also, gaya nga ng sabi ni Sir Hector, ang mga fault line ay hindi lang sa land, pwede rin siya sa
bodies of water.
Yes, sa underground. So we have here Western Philippine Fault. So nasaan naman siya, Ma'am Lynn?
Luzon Sea, Mindoro Strait, Panay Gulf, and Sulu Sea.
Yes, and additional pa, meron pang Eastern Philippine Fault.
And that's the Philippine Sea,
We have also Southern of Mindanao Fault.
the Moro Gulf, and Celebes Sea.
So tignan nga natin, Ma'am, ang Isabela. I-localize natin siya. Dito sa Isabela, balik tayo sa sir? So, meron ba, affected area ba ang Isabela sa 5 faults na yan?
Wala naman ako nakikitang Isabela dyan, Ma'am Rosel. Yung Aurora nga doon nasabi
May
ko.
Cagayan Valley ba?
Aurora Province yan. Wala din Cagayan.
Pero ang pinakamalapit sa atin dyan, Ma'am, siguro is yung Ilocos and Aurora.
So yan, the Central Philippine Fault.
Kasi kon yan, Mama, yung Central Philippine Fault, karugtong yan nung West Philippine Fault. Basta Philippine Fault ang kanya, magkakarugtong yan. Depende lang kasi sa location niya. Yung sa central kasi yan nakatapat ng Philippines. Yung sa western part ng Philippines yan. Pero actually, magkakarugtong ang mga yan. No? Philippine fault, lahat yan.
Yes, sir. So kahit nawala tayo dun sa sa mga affected area, ang pinakamalapit naman sa atin is entire Ilocos Norte and Aurora. Kapag malakas yung shaking, ibig sabihin affected pa rin tayo. So
Mararamdaman natin.
yes, ma'am. So kailangan is prepared pa rin tayo. So gaya nga ng experience niyo noon, ma'am. 1990, sa area na yon is malakas, pero dito malakas pa rin, 'di ba,
Malakas pa
ma'am?
rin. Pero yung sa damage nga, hindi gaano dito kumpara talaga doon sa pinangyarihan. Kung saan-
Lesser, yes. So that is the application of epicenter, yung distance na.
Oo. At saka additional information, yung Central Philippine Fault at saka yung mga Western Philippine Fault. Basta Philippine Fault, yan ay klase ng right, strike, slip, fault.
Yes, what can you please define that again, sir? Strike, slip, fault.
Yung mag-move ng pasay.
Sideways ang movement, not
Yes.
up, not down.
Okay. So pag ganun, ang movement is pa-sideways, hindi siya magpo-cause ng tsunami.
Oo.
Pero kapag yung pataas, yan. pwede siya
Yung
mag-cause.
yung hindi ko nabanggit kanina, left naman siya. Left, strike, slip, fault.
Left lateral,
Oo,
strike,
lahat.
slip.
Oo.
Okay, so bakit pinag-aaralan natin to for our preparedness, ma'am? So,
Kaya nga, di ba, gaya yung hashtag natin, ligtas ang may alam. So, para pang nangyari na ito, at least, hindi na tayo ganong magpapanic, di ba? Okay, so maiiwasan na yung mga aksidente. So, alam na, so medyo kalmado na tayo. Alam natin yung mga ginagawa na natin. So, less, tawag dito, mapapahalagahan na natin yung buhay natin, especially
we will, yes ma'am, marunong na tayong mag-deal ng ganitong natural phenomena. Okay, so before we have the generalization, ma'am, so let's allow our learners naman na i-comment yung mga 6 terms na natutunan natin o natutunan nila for today. So ano yung mga 6 na terms na define natin? Paki-comment naman mga learners.
Okay, so there are 6, ma'am?
Yes,
Kahit
ma'am.
na hindi magkasunod-sunod, basta mabuo nila yung 6. Sige ma'am, bigyan ko nga ng prize yung unang makakapag-comment.
Yes, 6 yun ha, 6.
Titignan ang inyong mga cellphone, Ma'am Rosel, Ma'am Rio, bigyan ko ng prize.
Wow.
Yung unang-unang makakasagot.
Anong prize nila,
basta
ma'am?
kumpleto ha. Basta kumpleto yung 6 na yon.
Kompleto and correct spelling,
Yes,
syempre.
of course.
Okay, nagta-type pa lang siguro sila, ma'am.
So,
So,
habang hinihintay natin, pwede na tayong
Uy, parang meron na.
meron na ba?
meron na nga. So, 6 ba to? So, let's have, sino kaya to?
Uh-huh.
Sarika F. Lankita.
that
Anong
is 8
section?
Copernicus.
Okay, from 8 Copernicus. So, sabi niya, epicenter versus focus, intensity versus magnitude, active versus inactive fault. So, complete. So, 6 yung nasabi niyang terms.
Okay, so anong prize?
Anong price?
Okay, last week, nagbigay ako ng load.
Wow!
Ngayon, magbibigay din ako ng load.
Okay, so ako naman, yung next naman is bibigyan ko din ng load, So,
50
that is...
pesos ang ibibigay ko, ma'am.
Okay, sige ma'am. Sa akin, 60 pesos.
Aba.
Sharika ba yan, Sharika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Sharika, anak, hintayin mo yung ipapadala ko sa yung load.
Okay, so ang second one, may 60 load, 60 peso load, is we have Ashley
Wow.
Timoteo.
Ay, sila na naman yung last
Yes.
week. Sila
From-
tungkol yan.
From 8 SPJ. Okay, how about Sir Hector?
Ay, magbibigay din ako ng overload.
Overload.
Yes, chocolate.
Sige, okay yan. One pack ng
Ay.
overload.
1 bar.
Ay, one only, isang piraso.
Oh,
One bar.
baka kasi 1 pack pagdating din sa bahay nila, 1 bar na lang.
Okay, so mabibigyan ka ng overload. Tinapay yun, di ba?
Oo.
Tinapay.
Chocolate.
Si
Chocolate.
TJ Arimbuyutan Antolin from 8 Copernicus
TJ.
also. TJ, yes
TJ,
ma'am.
ay, estudyante ko yan, advisory class ko. Ay, active ang aking mga 8 Copernicus nga na yun, ha?
Wow.
Sige mga anak, ipagpatuloy niyo magiging active. May bonus kayo sa akin.
Yes, and one last, Ma'am Rio, ano naman ang papremyo mo
Ma'am
dyan?
Rio.
Okay, binigyan ko ng badge.
Yes! Active participation.
Wag naman yun, ma'am, kasi
Sino
mabibigyan
ba
naman.
yun? Bago
So-
ko sabihin.
Si Ma'am, si Azlin Timoteo.
Yung isang
Sino yung?
kambal.
So kanina sa akin si Azli.
Oo,
Sa'yo naman, Ma'am, is si Azlin.
Si kambal niya yan.
Azlin. So, yung kambal. And syempre, Ma'am, hindi pwedeng mawala ang prize ni Sir Ryan. Kasi grade 8 teacher din siya.
Ay,
Anong prize mo, Sir Ryan? Anyway, Sir Ryan is behind the scenes siya. Siya ang technical specialist natin for today.
Kanina pa nga tumitingin dito, sabi niya sa isip-isip niya, bakit kaya ako, hindi kaya ako kasali? Ba't di nila ako sinasabi?
Okay, so ang sinasabi ni Sir Ryan, Sir, magbibigay daw siya ng 100 peso.
Wow! Okay. Pag ganyan na ganyan palagi na siyang present dito at kasama na natin.
At ang lucky winner ng 100 peso worth of load is we have Arian Faye Ramos Carnate of 8 Copernicus. Naku, madaya.
Ilan bang viewers natin? Baka puro Copernicus yan, ha?
30.
Okay, yung number daw, paki-chat.
Nasa akin ang mga number nila.
Kunin mo na lang kay Ma'am
Okay,
Linda.
sige.
Ayan, wow, ang daming prizes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this time, Ma'am, let's summarize our lesson for today.
Okay, so we just learned 6 important terms about earthquake, and knowing the differences of these terms can be helpful to us.
That's right! So that is why our official hashtag for today is Ligtas ang May Alam.
Okay, before we end, let us give the summary of our topic. Sir Hector?
Okay, so dun muna tayo sa first slide, Sir Ryan. Okay, the focus and epicenter of an earthquake. Okay. The point within Earth where rock under stress breaks is called the focus. The point directly above the focus on the surface is the epicenter. So medyo parang lumalabo na yata paningin ko. Hindi ko na yata halos makita yun. Oh yes.
Okay. How about intensity and magnitude, Ma'am Rosel?
Yes, Ma'am. So when we say magnitude, that measures the energy released at the source of the earthquake, while intensity, it will measure the strength of shaking produced by the earthquake at a certain location. And additional magnitude, it determined from measurements on seismographs, and intensity determined from effects on people, human structures, and the natural environment. So for magnitude, we have their quantitative scale. Intensity is qualitative scale. It can be measured through interview or describing the damages.
Okay, and for the last two terms, active fault is the area along which all shallow earthquake occur, and it is displayed seismic activity within 10,000 years. Whereas in active fault, these are these structures that we can identify, but which do not have earthquakes, or it does not generate earthquake. Yes. That's all? Okay!
So yan,
So learners, please don't forget, week 2 na tayo ngayon. So answer the weekly validating questions. And for the performance task, gaya last week, maghintay lang uli kayo kung ano ang mga ibibigay ng inyong mga science teacher. So be active sa mga GC ninyo. Okay?
yes, Ma'am. And ulitin lang natin yung ating, ilan yon? 5 lucky winners. So we have,
Sharika
Sa-
lang kita.
yes, 50 pesos load.
Sa akin yung galing.
Yes, Ma'am. We
Then
have
sa'yo, 60 pesos. Kay Ashley, yung isang
yung kambal. Paki-chat ako.
Yes. And then, yung kay Sir Hector, yung overload, it's TJ, Antolin.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then kay Ma'am Rio, si another kambal, si
Pajibar.
Ashley. Ano
Pajibar.
sa'yo? Pajibar. At si kay Arian Faye Carnate.
100!
pieces of candy daw. Yan naman ang ibibigay ni Sir Ryan. Okay,
Wow.
thank you, learners.
Yes.
Thank you, Sir Ryan, Sir Jassel, Sir Dennis. So, see you next week. Week 3.
Oo, nasa week 3 na tayo. And another natural phenomena ang
Yes, so that
ating
is all about
i-discuss.
typhoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Ngayong panahon na to, yan, na-experience natin palagi. Okay, ang
So,
typhoon.
yes sir, Ma'am Linda, pati last week na-discuss natin itong earthquake. So, hopefully, mas madami na tayong alam ngayon about this natural phenomena and mas prepared na tayo.
Yes, so
Dahil madami na tayong alam
na
about
natin
this.
yung mga dapat gawin ng before,
During,
during, and
after.
after. So, yung palang performance task last week na nakapagbigay na tayo, no? Ako nakapagbigay na. So, kung saan yung mag-send sila ng mga pictures nila. So, may mga nag-send ng mga estudyante ko na kung saan i-execute nila yung
Duck cover and hold. Duck
cover
and hold.
and hold.
So,
Yes.
yan. No? Yun yung last week, performance week 1. So, for week 2, maghintay-hintay ko na ipasabihin sa inyo ng inyong mga science teacher sa inyong mga GC.
Yes, and for week 3, done na tayo sa earthquake. So, ang next naman is typhoon.
Okay, so,
So that's all? Okay.
Yes.
so, thank you. So,
Thank
we
you so
are
much.
the team.
Ocho!
See you next week.
Yes. Hashtag
Ligtas
ang may alam. Bye!
Grade 8 learners.
Physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is the way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity and how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day. Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR FM.